What's up, guys? It's your boy Papa Doc. I'm out here in the house right now, in the house to be. So I was walking in the woods, as you know. I've been out here, and then all of a sudden I'm like in this city. I don't even know. Hold up, let me fix my shit so it looks even and so I can look pretty. Hold up. Anyways, so now I'm all of a sudden I'm in the city. They have coffee. It's pretty crazy. Actually, I am in Seattle right now, so I'm no longer in Minnesota. But I wanted to make a quick video about waking up at least a good 2 hours before you go to work. And I mean, at least an hour or an hour and a half of free time is very important, because now I feel all right. I feel like I'm ready to go to work. But most people, they just kind of wake up, they do their thing, but they're not doing their thing, they're doing the thing. They're getting ready for work, and then they go to work. And that's why most people loathe going to work, especially Mondays, because you don't give yourself enough time in the morning to relax and get in the right headspace. So what I'm trying to say, guys, is take an hour before work for yourself, so that way you can go into work with less loathsome. Because I was loathing going to work today, and this is literally my second day of my new job, and I'm just like, man. But now I'm like, hey, I don't mind going into work now, because now it's like I'm out here, I'm getting my mind right, I'm doing something a little bit stimulating, getting some coffee, I'm gonna have a cigarette, and then now I can go into the field and do the research that's been needed to be done since 2011, but our scientists haven't been on it. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, I'm in Seattle, guys. Speaking of jokes, but I'm in Seattle, and it's COVID's a hard subject, right? Because obviously it is real. I believe it was man-made, and now shit's coming out. Motherfuckers have been saying it's been man-made since the time it came out, and there's been good theories to back that shit up, good evidence that you could put together, but people don't want to do that because they just want to listen to the news and listen to what other motherfuckers are telling them and shit like that, instead of thinking for themselves, or even just being open-minded to the fact hey, you know what, there's like 1 billion people on this earth, and I don't know every single person within the government or within the rings within the rings and stuff like that, and for me to just think that everything that's being presented to me is the actual reality and there's nothing going on behind the scenes that I have no clue about, that'd be absurd. So it's usually those type of people, they follow the path because they're so into society that they need structure, and a part of that structure is also listening to the news or other authority figures about how to live their life, or what's going on in society, or what's up with COVID and shit like that, instead of thinking for themselves. And obviously it's not a bad thing to go to other people and get their opinion about the subject, and about because you don't have all the answers. I mean, you do have all the answers, but in this limited form, you do not have all the answers. That's the part of the game. That's why everything's about learning and teaching, because in this form, we are all one, but in this physical reality, you're in this body, I'm in this body. Even though you is still the same thing, it's having a different experience through the avatar that it's in. So I'm having definitely a different experience than you guys, and that's the cool thing about infinity and all this stuff. It's pretty dope. I'm actually looking for a place to sit down and have my coffee. Look at that, it's a pigeon. Oh, and I can finally start using my front camera. If you notice, before I was using my front camera. Now I'm using my selfie camera, because I broke my phone before and there was dirt inside it, but now the whole piece of glass broke off, so now I can fully record myself. But yeah, I kind of went off. But yes, wake up. Give yourself an hour of time to yourself, guys. Give yourself an hour of time to yourself. It's very important. Because now I'm definitely not loathing going to work right now. I'm not loathing going to work. But yeah, so it is really interesting. All this stuff is coming to light, even Biden and stuff like that. And another thing is too, it's so what they do is they do such a good job at this. They will fact checkers, all this stuff. Everybody trusts them. Everybody, you know what I mean? But they'll pull in a blind eye and be like, oh, of course they're not being paid off by any government officials that might be trying to run shit. They don't want to think that stuff, because then their reality crumbles. And the thing is too, a lot of that's liberal thinking. And I'm not segregating, because I'm not a liberal or conservative or Democrat or any of that stuff. That's the trick right there, though. They put you guys into teams, conservatives and Democrats, so you hear a part of the information, but then they're like, oh, well, that's conservative talk, so I'm not going to hear any of that shit. And then vice versa, on conservatives, oh, that's liberal talk, I'm not trying to hear any of that shit. So it keeps you guys divided, and that's why people don't want to hear that shit. That's why people don't want to hear that Biden might be on some bullshit and all this other stuff, and that they're fact checkers and all this stuff, because it's conservative theory. So they're like, oh, fuck, I'm not trying to hear that shit, because then they're right. Then my team is going to lose. They're not saying that outwardly, but it's deep ingrained in their subconscious because they've been on this team for so long. You guys, we need to transcend all that shit. We need to transcend politics. You're much higher than that. But since you are God, you have the power to trick yourself to be in this matrix. And you're being tricked by other gods. And I know this stuff sounds lunacy to some people, but to those who get it, you get it. To those of you who know, to those of you who've experienced that oneness, you get it. You understand what I'm talking about. You understand what I'm talking about. So the best thing to do is those type of people that can't open their minds because they're too chosen on a team or a side, and it can crumble. Like, you got to understand, they're too heady. They're too heady. So you're doing a battle with their mind and stuff like that. The best thing you can do is just be present and show by example. And most likely a lot of this stuff is going to come out in time anyways. So I had to do that too. Like, even with my mom, I just can't, I don't entertain those conversations, because she has her opinion on the matter and I have my opinion on the matter, and that's that. And like, I'm not trying to go into that, because she doesn't agree with any of that stuff. And now it's coming to the light that, obviously that stuff is that stuff that I was talking about before. And if she sees this, I'm sorry, but yeah, that stuff that I'm talking about before is starting to come to the light. But the reason why she was blocked off, I don't know. I'm not going to talk down on my mom. She's my mom. She's fucking awesome. So that's why I just let it be, because I'm not trying to let that tear apart into our relationship. But yeah, guys, just open your mind, think for yourselves and stuff like that. There's so many factors going on in this reality, in this situation. There's not just the factors that are being shown to your face. You gotta really, really like open your mind. Do some fucking shrooms, man. I'm telling you, shrooms won't. It really depends on where you're at consciously. The shrooms will expand your consciousness, and they will expand your consciousness. They're not a drug, man. It's just like a little magic cheat code. But then after the shrooms kind of wear off, you got to keep reminding yourself of that oneness and all that type of shit. But yeah, so don't even... But even me saying that about my mom, if she sees this, that could put her back. You know what I mean? That could put her in defense mode and make her not open up. So that's why you guys got to just don't be going off. If you feel like you need to, then do so. But you know what I mean? I believe that this evidence is coming out of time. I already thought Fauci was on some bullshit before. I think Biden was like inserted. You know what I mean? Everybody hated on Trump and shit like that. But the truth is going to come to light. And you can't even talk to people about Trump, because most of the people are too biased and too, defensive. And their feelings within their mind, that they can't actually open up and actually have like a conversation about it, because they're like, bad, evil, awful person, you know what I mean? That's why I love talking about Hitler, because he's like the worst person, right? And you can really bump out the people that are too emotionally in their pain body, or too emotionally in their mind, and the people that are actually like, they have a more matureness, awareness, and openness to understanding, because there's so much more to life. Life ain't black and white, guys. Anyways, I'm kind of going off. I really want to sit down and smoke this Siggy Wiggy. I like being in the park with like girls coming by and shit, but it's all good in the hood. I like looking at the pretty ladies out here, man. They're beautiful. They are beautiful. And then I touch myself. No one's looking. I'm kidding. Anyways, guys, keep the mind open. Keep being free. Keep practicing being present. And that's what I've been doing in these last 2 weeks too, is being present, because from that state of presence, that's where you find God. And you're not going to understand God more until you feel God. That's the thing. That's why when I'm walking around saying I am God, It sounds hella arrogant, right? But it's because most people don't understand what it is that I'm saying. They've never felt what it is that I'm saying. They don't get it. They don't get it. And that's why to you guys it'll sound arrogant, because you cognitively see God as like a person, a being, like a being, an entity. No, God is existence. Maybe God is the wrong term, because God is like a noun. Don't noun God. God should be like an adjective. What is it, an adjective? Yeah. God is all things. It's existence, baby. I'm God, you're God. But when I say it like that, it sounds arrogant. It sounds like, well, you're crazy, man. You're not a God. Like, no, I am a God, and you're a God. You're living your life. The I that is you. Everybody's an I, right? Everybody says, I do this, I do this. We are all the I, experiencing ourselves through different vessels. But you don't even try to conceptualize God. You know what I mean? You can only feel. The moment you start to try to conceptualize God, you lost it. And you can kind of conceptualize it. You can kind of remind yourself to get back in that presence, remind yourself of the oneness and stuff. But when I experienced that oneness, guys, I realized like, holy shit, I'm it. Cornell, Ithaca, that's where I'm from. That's when I realized. All right, I'm going through fucking construction right now. So this should be another video, and I'll talk on that, the oneness. But you are it. You are it. And when you come at it from this understanding and this knowing, your whole world opens up in a totally different light. The whole world opens up in a totally different light. So keep being present. Focus on your breathing. It's hard because your ego, which is you, but your mind, because your mind is a tool that needs to be used. But you need to get in contact with that being that you actually are. And you can only really get in contact with that being if you are present within yourself. And then once you have that realization of being in that being, when you feel that and you see your thoughts and stuff like that, you realize that you are the master, that you are in control. Like, obviously you're not in control of everybody. You know, you're not God in the sense that you have control of everybody, but you realize that you have the power. You are the power, and you can do anything you want for the most part. You can move your body however you want. You can do this. The only thing that's stopping you is self-limiting beliefs that have been imposed on you throughout your living. And you know where they're all at. You'll notice it when you're in this presence, when you're in your body, when you're present. You'll notice it's all coming from the mind, and it's all an illusion. That's why you've been stuck. That's why you've been trapped. That's why you can't. That's why you've been limited, because your mind is being fed with information. You want to learn to use your mind as a tool and not let your mind use you. Anyways, I'm going to leave it at that because I want to find a place, and I'm dilly-dallying right now. So, guys, stay cool, stay open-minded. You know, there's way more going on than we even realize right now, guys. Way more. Spiritual and the physical are one. Anyways, peace.